as Guardians of the Galaxy. Hey geeks, welcome to my channel. I'm Trey Guillotine and you're watching Daily Marvels, where I've gathered some of the big Marvel news from the past week and put it in one place just for you. Marvel Studios still don't have rights to all of their characters. Phil Coulson may finally reunite with the Avengers. Heimdall is going to be playing a part in Avengers Infinity War, but Captain Marvel won't. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it around so others can join in the conversation. Kevin Feige recently revealed that while the Fox and Disney deal does bring a number of their characters back under Marvel and back to Marvel Studios, there are still characters out there that they don't own the rights to. In the 90s, Marvel was basically facing bankruptcy, and that's why they sold off so many of their characters' film rights so that they could try to get money so that they could still stay afloat. And it's unfortunate that they couldn't look 20 years into the future to 2008 to the massive success of the MCU. It's unfortunate that they couldn't read the future or tell the future, but that's the reason that they sold off so many of their character rights, and now they are trying to get them back, saying that there are still characters out there that they don't have the rights to. There are so many Marvel characters in Marvel Comics that it would be impossible to sit here and speculate which heroes they still have the rights to and which heroes are still sold off. We know that they're getting the rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four back at least. But there are other heroes that we probably haven't even thought of that were probably sold off that weren't as big as the X-Men or Fantastic Four or Spider-Man that are still in some small studio office that they just haven't tried to get back yet, or the owner of those rights just aren't budging yet, or whatever the deal is, that there are still probably some smaller heroes out there that they don't have. What we do know is the complexities of some of the rights of the heroes that they do have, or that they kind of have. So first off, Incredible Hulk still isn't technically owned by Marvel Studios. They have the rights to, technically, Incredible Hulk is still part of Universal Studios, which is why we haven't seen another Incredible Hulk solo film. But for whatever reason, whatever contract they have with Universal Studios allows them to use Hulk. And I'm guessing other characters from Hulk, because they have General Ross in they have General Ross in Captain America Civil War, so it looks like they can use some characters from Hulk in other movies, but they can't do a standalone Hulk movie because the rights still technically belong to Universal Studios, which is why we're seeing this big, well, we don't know what it's going to be yet, but we're seeing this bigger storyline for the Hulk that started in Thor Ragnarok, and that's going to continue in Infinity War and Avengers 4. The other complicated rights issues comes with Spider-Man, where they have kind of a joint custody, of Spider-Man between Sony and Marvel Studios that allows them to use Spider-Man, and I'm guessing other characters from the Spider-Man universe like Vulture and Aunt May in standalone Spider-Man films and in crossover films in the MCU. But I guess they don't necessarily own all of the rights of Spider-Man characters, as there's a Venom movie coming out that isn't Marvel Studios, but then there's also the rumor that Spider-Man, specifically Tom Holland's Spider-Man, is going to be involved somehow in some way in the Venom film. That's where it gets really confusing, and I really believe Sony has no idea what they're doing with any of the rights of Spider-Man. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. But it is a very complicated issue where, like, Venom's not going to be part of the MCU, but if Tom Holland's Spider-Man is in the MCU, is in Venom, then it is in the MCU. It's really complicated. I would love it if they could get all the rights of the characters back. I think that would be fantastic. That way they could really kind of shape the Marvel Cinematic Universe into what they ultimately want it to be. Clark Gregg and Jeff Loeb recently talked in a short interview about the idea of when or if Coulson was going to be returning to the films. Clark Gregg said flat out he that, if it happens, it'll happen. But right now, he's focused on making sure that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a strong show. That's where his focus is. That he's not really worried about going back to the movies. That's his focus. Jeff Loeb, however, said something different. He said that it will happen. The issue will be resolved, and Coulson will return to the movies, and it may happen in a very surprising way. So, personally, I think the opportunity for Coulson to return to the movies has long since passed. It's been 2 phases. It has been 2 full phases of the MCU. Basically 2 giant acts of the MCU that Coulson has been gone, and there's barely been any mention of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Coulson with it. So I think the opportunity for Coulson to return and that to have any significance has actually passed, especially since in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like the very first episode, the pilot episode, they did mention that people in S.H.I.E.L.D. are given the knowledge that, who aren't at the classified level. I think that Coulson died in the battle for New York. That Coulson died and that Coulson is dead. And then it's revealed that if you get to what I think it's level 7 in S.H.I.E.L.D., that you find out Coulson's alive. Like, that may be, except there are so many times in just the first season, before Coulson becomes the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that he's just wandering around a S.H.I.E.L.D. base for any lowly S.H.I.E.L.D. agent to see that Phil Coulson is alive. So the idea that Coulson being alive is still a harshly regarded secret is ridiculous, especially for the Avengers. Maria Hill knows that Coulson alive, and she wanted to work for Stark. Lady Sif knows, so I imagine she probably told Thor. If she didn't, Heimdall sure as hell knows that Coulson is alive, but I don't think he would care. Black Widow and Hawkeye have to know that he's alive. Like, it's kind of ridiculous to think that none of the original Avengers, that they don't know that Coulson is still alive. I feel like for Coulson to arrive in the movies, it would be like this big reveal moment that, hey guys, I've actually been alive and directing S.H.I.E.L.D. in the shadows, and most of the Avengers would be like, yeah, we know. Tell us something we don't know. So I think the time for that to have carried any significance has passed. Also, the time to bring S.H.I.E.L.D. back, the perfect opportunity to bring S.H.I.E.L.D. back was in Captain America Civil War. When they were introducing the Sokovia Accords, S.H.I.E.L.D. was the perfect entity to police the Sokovia Accords, and they didn't use it. They didn't bring S.H.I.E.L.D. back. They didn't bring it up at all. The Sokovia Accords have barely been mentioned in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They've mentioned twice, once in the episode after the release of Captain America Civil War, and one when Quake signed the Sokovia Accords in the last season. But, of course, Jeff Loeb says that it will happen, and in a surprising way. So, obviously, either he's completely full of shit, or he knows something that not many other people know, and knows what's going on in the backgrounds, which would make sense. He's basically the Kevin Feige of Marvel Television. He's the executive producer. He is the big name behind Marvel Television. And also, let's keep in mind that with Avengers Infinity War happening, and with the Infinity Stones being kind of brought into play, the entire shape of reality could change. So that could definitely be a way that Coulson returns. He says that it's in a surprising way, so I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. So it's been confirmed that Heimdall, that Idris Elba will be reprising his role as Heimdall in Avengers Infinity War. It has long been suspected since the very first Thor movie where we met Heimdall that Heimdall actually has or is one of the Infinity Stones, and at this point he would have to be the Soul Stone. I don't think he is, but that's the theory that a lot of people hold. And the fact that he's going to be apparently playing a role in Avengers Infinity War means that that may actually be true. He may actually be the last Infinity Stone. And that revelation of his being a stone could be the role that he's playing in Avengers Infinity War. The last time we saw Heimdall was at the end of Thor Ragnarok, when Thor and Loki and Valkyrie and Korg and Heimdall were basically leading the Asgardians on a giant ship traveling through space to Earth, basically being Battlestar Galactica, And that's the last time we saw. And then in one of the end credit scenes was like Thor and Loki looking out into space, and they see this giant ship approaching them, which we're guessing is somehow connected to Thanos, and maybe they get in a space battle, and that's how Thor is separated from the rest of the Asgardians and ends up with the Guardians of the Galaxy. As Guardians of the Galaxy. But what ultimately happens, we don't know. I personally think that if Heimdall is going to be involved, it would be more in either he's kind of leading the Asgardians like he was in Thor Ragnarok before Thor and Loki showed up, that he's now once again leading them somewhere, or maybe even in battle against Thanos and his forces. I think that's a more likely scenario for Heimdall to be involved. In leading the Asgardians. But when we really think about it, in Age of Ultron, Thor went into the pool of vision. I forget what it was called, but the vision pool, and he had a vision that had to do with the Infinity Stones. No, that's not true. That's not what happened. Thor had the vision of kind of Asgard, and they were kind of like at this decadence party. And that's when he saw Heimdall, and his eyes were different, and he said, you didn't save us, you doomed us. That's what happened that didn't happen in the vision pools. That happened when Scarlet Witch messed with his mind. So I apologize. So that's definitely not confirmation that Heimdall is one of the Infinity Stones, but he still could be. It's still possible. I don't think he is. I still think the last Infinity Stone is in Wakanda, but it is a widely believed theory that Heimdall is one of the Infinity Stones. So his role in Avengers Infinity War could be that. I don't think it will be, but it could be. While Idris Elba's Heimdall will be in Avengers Infinity War, Brie Larson's Captain Marvel will not. And it was originally she was supposed to be in Infinity War. They actually talked, because she's actually talked about filming scenes for filming scenes with other Avengers, specifically one with the Hulk, where like she had to hold the Hulk back, no, don't go, and she had to put her hand in front of Mark Ruffalo's face because that's about where the Hulk's torso would be. So she's filmed scenes with the Avengers, and I imagine she was supposed to be in Avengers Infinity War, but I'm guessing they probably had to cut her role due to time, because she was also supposed to have a cameo in Avengers Age of Ultron, and now she's not having she's not even having a cameo in Avengers Infinity War. So we won't see Captain Marvel until her own movie, because I'm pretty sure Avengers 4 isn't slated to come out until after Captain Marvel, which really sucks. But now, because I imagine she's filmed scenes for Avengers Infinity War, I'm wondering if we'll actually see like some deleted scenes involving Captain Marvel in some of the in the Avengers Infinity War Blu-ray. I think that would be really cool. I would love to see like deleted scenes of what the original plan would be. Not that these deleted scenes are what actually happens, but we didn't see it. It's obviously, we can't take deleted scenes as canon as much as we sometimes want to. But that would still be really cool to see Captain America in like a deleted scene in the Avengers Infinity War Blu-ray. What do you think of these daily Marvels, and are there any stories you'd like to talk about? Let me know in the comments and follow me on all the internets. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it around so others can join in the conversation. If you want to check out my reviews of Marvel TV shows and movies, go to www.treyguillotine.com and subscribe to my channel to geek out some more. Thanks for watching, and have fun.